the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that.
What is up, Titans Nation? Welcome in to the 615. It's your host, Lee Hillis. And yes, we are talking Titans, Vikings, ahead of the showdown in Nashville, presented by SeatGeek and Expedia. We have to give a shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. Use our code 615 podcast, and that is 615 PODCAST in all caps at checkout for $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. And you can also find the link, our link to Expedia down in the description. And let's go and give a holler to this guy here right next to us, Tyler King. TK, what up, dude?
What up, Lee? Tighten up, Titans Nation. Got another hefty task ahead this week. We're going to get into it. Yeah, exactly. But we all got to also look at, they did struggle last week against the Jags, who honestly, I think that might be our only other win this year. I think we might split with them. So who knows? We're going to get into that. Me and Lee have talked a little bit about it. So let's get into it.
So Titans host the Vikings in Nashville ahead of the showdown. So let's go ahead and dive into talking Titans Vikings individual stats. From last week, Sam Darnold, 24 of 38, 241, but he threw 3 interceptions. Do you think the Titans could exploit that this week, Tyler?
I wish that we would have Snead, but hopefully, yeah, I think we could. I actually really do think we could. The problem is can we finish?
And Aaron Jones had 88 yards on the ground. Could we hold him to that or under?
Well, I know he's still questionable, right? Technically, I think he was. I think you said he was a limited participant today, right?
Limited, yes, with a rib injury.
Yeah. Man, it's just hard. We put so much pressure on this defense because of the offense, and I think if the offense can keep the defense off, if our offense can keep the defense off the field a little bit more, and we have more kind of, energy behind that, I think that, we potentially could.
So their receiving game, their leading receiver was their tight end, TJ Hawkinson, 8 receptions on 9 targets, 72 yards. But the guy that I know everybody wants to talk about, Justin Jefferson, had 5 catches on 9 targets for 48.
Yeah, and I mean, you look, 48 yards against the Jags. Our defense is better than the Jags defense.
We have the number 1 defense against the pass.
Yeah, well, think about this too, though. And me and you kind of had this discussion earlier. If you really think about it, you got Brownlee, you've got McCurry. I mean, what do you put Brownlee on Jefferson here? Or do you do a complete flip and throw McCreary out there and bring Brownlee to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. if you look at it, Brownlee has played somebody as good as him, or if not better, and taking care of business in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So I think you let him try to live up to the task. And if he starts struggling, flip him.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be an ongoing thing, but I see what you're saying for sure. Let's move on to the other stats.
Defensively, they had 3 sacks on the game. Blake Cashman, the inside linebacker, had 1. Ivan Pace had 1, and Andrew Van Ginkel had 1. So they know how to get after the quarterback.
Yeah. And then in the interception part of that, it looks like they had 2 last week. And that's the only thing, I know Levis didn't have 1 last week. That's honestly, it's going to be a big question mark again, is going to be Levis. So, can he not turn the ball over like that? You can go ahead and move on.
The surprise, they did not have a single kick return.
Yeah, and they didn't have a single kick return, and the score was 12-7. I don't know how the Jags' special teams is, honestly, but I will say this. We've been saying it all year with the way that our special teams is going. Kick it out of the end zone. Kick it out of the end zone so we don't have to worry about it.
And I think that's what we have to do this week.
I agree 1,000%, Lee. That's very, very smart. Absolutely. We've honestly, I don't care who we're playing. We're that bad on special teams.
Yeah. Will Reichard, who was their rookie, he is on IR. So John Parker Romo is the new kicker. He went 4 for 4 with a long of 45.
Yeah.
That's how they won that ball game right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that stat alone, Lee, says a lot, because basically what that says is they didn't have
nothing but field goal.
They didn't get into the end zone.
But we know what the Titans did last week.
Yeah, I mean, we can go through these pretty quick.
Levis 18 of 23, 175 and 2 touchdowns. Tajay Spears led the way with 7 carries, 47 yards. Calvin Ridley, 5 catches on 9 targets, 84. NWI, 3 catches on 3 targets for 31. And then the player there towards the end of the game. Huh?
Every weekly NWI receptions will be whether it's only 2, whether it's only 4, whether it's only 1. It's always receptions 3, targets 3. He catches everything that's thrown his way.
Exactly. But the play that I want to bring up was the quote unquote back shoulder fade to Josh Wiley.
I don't know what we were doing there. Literally was sitting there watching the game.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was a bad call.
I don't know what we were thinking there.
Defensively,
we know Gibby had a day.
Yeah. Jack Gibbons had a day. Had 15 total tackles, 10 of them solo. But the number that really shocks me is we couldn't get to the quarterback. And Callahan said it best. They are a team that likes to bleed the clock. They are a bleeding team, basically. Yeah. And that is what Greg Roman and both of the Harbaugh brothers love to do, is bleed the clock.
Yeah, yeah. And then we know what happened here. Uncle St. Nick missed one.
Uncle Nick, redeem yourself.
Nick. Yeah.
And then let's come back down to small screen for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Top 5 games of the week in week 11. This is from my perspective. I think we have to put the Titans in there. Can we
Yeah.
expose Sam Darnold? Can the Titans expose Sam Darnold?
And honestly, I don't know if normally we would put a Titans game like against a team with this much of a winning record in it, but the reason we did also is because of what we just went over and what we saw last week. I honestly could say I actually think we potentially have. I think we have a better team than the Jags do. And they struggled with the Jags. They didn't even score a touchdown.
Speaking of the Jags, Mac Jones gets his second consecutive start in Duval.
That's honestly, think about it. That's another thing. Trevor, like, regardless, even though he hasn't been a world beater by any means this year, we look at the record, but that they didn't score a touch. I mean, it's 12-7 against a Mac Jones led offense. So I do feel a little bit more hope. I don't think this is like a Titans versus the Lions where it's like me and Lee are going to predict like that it's just going to be an absolutely a massacre.
Yeah, it's not going to be a massacre by any means.
Yeah.
Number 2, I went Green Bay at Chicago.
My favorite game of the week, man. Just it's a classic game. As I've said on here before, Green Bay's a team I pretty much, if it's not the Titans on, I'll watch them because they win and they're fun to watch. They're kind of one of those in between teams that I think could, make a splash in the playoffs. So.
The Rams at the Patriots. We saw the Patriots last week knock off. We saw one rookie, and Drake May beat another one, and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, Caleb Williams has lost to both quarterbacks that went behind him.
Yeah.
And Drake May and Jaden Daniels.
That's a good stat, actually. We didn't even talk about that before the pod. I actually didn't even realize that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, could Drake May come in and shock the world and beat the Rams?
Who knows?
And then you have to go Derrick Henry at Pittsburgh.
That's a good one, too, dude. That's a really good one.
Because this game right here is for first in that division.
Yeah.
Because you have the Steelers at 7-2. You have the Ravens at 7-3.
Yeah, the only thing that separates them is a bye week, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have, can the Chiefs stay undefeated in Buffalo?
Yeah, and some people have, some of the other podcasters, won't name any names or anything, but some people have Buffalo above them, even though that the record stand the way they do. So that's going to be interesting.
And here's what I know Tyler really wanted to get into.
Oh, yeah.
So the other night, Tyler and I, it was like, what, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, we do this sometimes.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, it's kind of what we do sometimes.
So we were running through a predictor for the season. The Titans could pick anywhere based on this predictor.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's go into like
anywhere
how
between 3 and 7.
So let's
we have
go ahead.
Titans winning one more game.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and the predictor works is basically there's a site me and Lee went to. We were on the phone and we went through it together. We both picked the same winners on each. But you don't just pick. It wasn't just picking the Titans. We picked all games of how like everything would kind of play out the way we thought it would.
Yes.
As far as the Titans go, like Lee just said, the only thing we did different was we had them losing out except splitting with the Jags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with everything that we did,
and it has us. We took the Titans splitting with Jacksonville.
But other than that, it was we lost him out basically.
And the Titans finished 3-14. And it has the Titans pick. We have the Titans picking at third, at the highest. At the lowest, the Titans will be picking somewhere around 6 or 7.
Yeah. So let's just say 7, But with the predictor that we did, it was either we finish out that way and it's 3, or the other way it was going to be at the worst it's 7, at the best it's 3. So there's a lot to kind of like unpack there.
But
you're gonna have to go ahead and keep
the
going.
current draft order. The current NFL draft order, top 10: Jacksonville 1, Giants 2, Titans 3, Browns 4, Vegas 5, Miami 6, Patriots 7, Saints 8, Carolina 9, Jets 10.
Yeah, and so if they finished like this, kind of how we kind of touched on last week, on Monday, Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville takes a quarterback. The Giants absolutely, I think, at this point are taking a quarterback. I don't think Daniel Jones is – I think they've pretty much understood that he's not the guy there. Now, the big question, and it's not that we're repeating ourselves, but it really is. It's going to be a big topic on all the pods here on out when we bring up draft. What do we do here if we're this high? Now, here's the thing, though. If you look at these teams, because basically how we did it, even if we were at 7, if you shift all these teams around, well, then the whole quarterback talk or right tackle talk kind of even gets a little bit more wishy-washy, because that's going to take the top 2 off the board, that as in Ward and Shador. But if it stands this way, Lee, are you still holding strong on you think we should take a tackle on the right side?
I think you have to strip this offensive line before getting your future quarterback.
Yeah. It's the question of the century right now. I'm telling you, it's. I mean, I think as Titans fans, we all realize that even next year we're not going to be world beaters. So, I mean, I still, in my heart of hearts, I think we do take a quarterback. But let's say we go tackle. Now Lee has put together this, and this is what I wanted. Wait, go ahead and go through this first.
So this right here is every single quarterback. There's only 10 quarterbacks in this draft class. Your top 3, top 4 may end up in the first round. Cam Ward is your number 1 quarterback. Shador 2. Quinn Ewers at 3. Carson Beck at 4. Jalen Milroe at 5. Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU at 6. Drew Aller out of Penn State at 7. Kyle McCord, former Ohio State quarterback, current Syracuse quarterback, at 8. Miller Moss out of USC at 9. And Jackson Dart at 10.
Okay, go back split screen real quick, but still have this pulled up for me. I can see it good. Okay, yeah. So, like, what I'm trying to think is this. Cam Ward and Shador, they're going first round no matter what. I honestly think Quinn Ewers also goes first round no matter what. After those top 3 go.
Maybe mid to late.
After those top 3 go, it gets real squirrely after that. You got Carson Beck, Milroe, Nussmeier, Aller, McCord, Moss, and Dart. I personally think Jackson Dart should be higher in these rankings. Just my opinion.
He knocked off Carson Beck last week.
I think Carson Beck is trash. Just tell you straight up.
He looks like Timmy from South Park.
Yeah, but it's not even that. Yeah, that is true. But I personally think I'm actually shocked that he is. And the only thing I can think about is because Georgia's.
And this is based on these rankings are based on CBS Sports.
Yeah. So, but I just pulled these. Yeah,
I just pulled these.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, the dude's had like 5 interceptions in the past 2 games or something crazy like that. But it's not even that. Like, he can't beat the good. He's not beating these like certain teams.
Hey,
Also,
the only team he beat is Texas.
Texas. Yeah. And honestly, I think Carson Beck is only this high because of Georgia's success. Personally.
And a lot of their success has came on the ground.
Yeah. Think about the running backs Georgia's produced in the yeah, I mean, it's kind of like same thing with like a Bama situation.
Todd Gurley. Gurley.
Yeah, I mean, but so wait, go back to that real quickly. Let me ask you one quick question. All right, so Lee, let's say we don't take a tackle, and let's say we do go quarterback. Let's say we're at, because if you switch,
let's say we're 3.
No, I want to go the other way with it. Actually, if we're 3,
we're like 6.
No. If we're 3, actually, Lee, my personal opinion, if we're 3, we're taking a quarterback. Now, if we're 6 or 7, let's hypothetically say like the right tackle thing we're not going to do. We're still set on a quarterback. If you don't take Cam Ward, Shador, and Ewers, let's say they're off the board by 6 or 7. Which one of these are you taking? If you were the Titans GM and saying, hey, no matter what, we're taking a quarterback, which one are you taking?
Well, if you want to deal with just arm, I'm looking at a guy like maybe Nussmeier out of LSU. But if you want athleticism, you've got to go Milroe.
I know, man, because people are saying Milroe could end up being like a Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts somehow became a better – I don't know how this happened, but somehow Jalen Hurts has become a better passer in the NFL than he was in college, and I don't know how that's happened.
And I see the mechanics with him, between him and Hurts. I see them.
Yeah. I mean, so actually, as we're talking about this, I'm just going to look this up right now, actually. Washington's up on the Philly 7-0. Jalen Hurts is struggling right now, but yeah, I mean, if his stats like on this, I mean, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, he's gotten better. I will say this. Let's say something crazy happens. Let's say we're at 3. Somehow we had another first-round pick, or if there was a quarterback to fall to the second round, I would actually I would take Jackson Dart as much as I think people would say, and I have said it too. I think he reminds me a lot of Will Levis in certain ways, but I mean, the dude is slinging that thing, man.
Yeah.
I would.
And he also has the mobility.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, including me, have said, like, because I think I was talking to you about this the other day. I was like, I like Jackson Dart a lot. I really do. But I also could see that he's very similar.
What I'm thinking is, if you can find a quarterback with the stature of Drew Aller from Penn State, but the mechanics of Cam Ward and the athleticism of Cam Ward.
Oh, that's like, yeah. Yeah, because what, 6'5"? 235?
6'5", 235.
That's straight muscle.
That sounds a little bit like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's straight muscle, bro. 6'5", 235, straight muscle.
But like, then we can go look at top 10 players in this draft class.
Yeah. Go over this and pull it up full. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Bring
it up. Yeah, go through that list real quick. I'll be right back.
So, your number one player in this draft class is Travis Hunter. Most people would have him coming into the league to play corner. Then you have corner out of Michigan, Will Johnson at 2, Mason Graham defensive lineman out of Michigan at 3. The McMillan guy out of Arizona, the receiver out of Arizona at 4. Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU at 5. Cam Ward at 6. Michael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia at 7. Deion Walker, defensive lineman out of Kentucky at 8. Shador Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado at 9. And tackle Kelvin Banks out of Texas at 10.
Yeah, and dude, I think when we get to tackle, man, I think if we go the route that you're kind of saying, I think that's who we go for.
Well, there's 2 tackles out of Texas. The other one is not in the top 10. So like if we do go quarterback, I think we could, if this other guy falls into the second round, you may have a shot at getting him. And it is Cameron Williams out of Texas. And Cameron Williams plays right tackle.
Didn't he transfer for somewhere?
I don't think so. He's 6'5", 335.
Okay. I thought
Kelvin Banks out of the left tackle at the University of Texas, 6'4", 320. Will Campbell, tackle out of LSU, who is the number 5 player on the board, is 6'6", 323.
Yeah.
So right now, those are my top 3 tackles on the board. Or there's there is a tackle out of Minnesota who is 6'6", 330, who is the 49th ranked player on the board, but he's the number 5 tackle on the board.
Okay.
The Williams kid is the 7th ranked tackle, but he's the 56th player on the board.
Is that Will Campbell out of LSU? It says tackle. Is he a left tackle?
I would have to actually pull that up.
The fact that he's ranked that high makes me think he probably is.
But you see what we did with J.C. Latham.
I'm trying to.
Game log. Yeah, I'm pulling up his game log right now to see if I could find out. Actually, let me just go pull up LSU's depth chart.
He's a left tackle.
LSU.
He's a left tackle.
He's a left tackle.
He is a left tackle. I just found it. Yeah, I just looked it up. I don't know. You hear like rumblings. Like we took J.C. Latham as a right tackle. I mean, he hadn't played left tackle in 3 or 4 years, and you see what he's doing right now.
He hadn't played left tackle since he hadn't played left tackle since his senior year of high school. He had every intention on going into Alabama to play left tackle.
Yeah. So
but they had guys like Evan Neal.
Yeah, yeah.
They had guys like Evan Neal in there.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
I'm just 6'6", 323. That guy. Okay. So here's where this is what I actually told Lee to put this in the show.
And then
let's say we go tackle, guys. All right. Let's say we go tackle and we don't get a quarterback. Let's hypothetically say this is what happens. I asked Lee to put this together. So I want either the listeners to comment as well and Lee, I want to know your opinion. Go ahead and pull the list up and let's go through them and let's say, hey, look, if we got to sign somebody to a 1-2 year deal,
and there are 3 different slides. There are 3 different ones.
Yeah, we'll go through them all. All right.
Here's the first one. On this first list, you have Sam Darnold, who's in Minnesota now. He'll be 27-28 at the start of next season.
Okay.
His market value is not cheap.
No.
Sam Darnold, I'm just gonna pull up his market value because I would not sign him for this. His average salary, he's making $10 million right now. His estimated average salary on his next contract is $32.4 million.
I already know the name off this first
Then you have
slide.
Zach Wilson that you're looking at.
I have one name on this list.
Then you have Trey Lance in Dallas. Marcus.
I still love
Marcus.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not, but I do still love him, and I wouldn't complain about it. But I'm gonna tell you, and I bet you knew the name I'm gonna say that I would.
Brissett?
No, but I bet when I tell you the name, you're gonna be like, "Oh, that makes sense." There's one name that I think we can make work on this list right here. Do you want me to go ahead and tell you?
Who?
Justin Fields.
I was just fixing to click on his market value. But let's go to Jacoby Brissett's market value before we go to Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Because there are only 4 guys on this whole list that actually have a market value. Jacoby Brissett, his average salary is $7.5 million on his next contract. That's $500,000 less than what he's making right now.
Yeah.
And he'll be 31, 32.
Okay.
Justin Fields is, I think, just a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, who will be 25, 26 at the time of his next contract.
I'm also looking at
$9.2 million.
He's going to be our franchise guy, but I'm saying like as a midway point. I saw what he did with Pitt earlier in the year, and I think he could make something work. I've seen him in person, his stature. I mean, he's actually way bigger than you would think.
His annual average salary on his next contract is $9.2 million. His estimated contract 1 year, $9,189,154.
So I'll put it to you this way:
what his estimated contract is his.
I look at this list, to be honest. I think the only 2 names out of this slide that we have, Sam Darnold and Justin Fields, I feel like are starting quarterbacks somewhere next year. Outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm looking at, because like I said, if we're not going to take a quarterback, that's the route that I'm going.
For me, I'm looking for the thing that I'm looking at is like just to find a bridge guy.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I mean,
next slide.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
yeah, here we go.
On this side, you have Jameis Winston. Mac Jones, no. Weak ankles, Wentz, maybe.
No.
Just as a bridge guy for 1 year.
I like Jameis Winston.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
What Jimmy G? Garoppolo.
I'm not saying completely no on that.
May bring Rudolph back.
I'm wondering if that's potential. Yeah, it gets kind of squirrely.
Josh Dobbs.
That's another one. I was actually mad that we never kept him for a backup, but I mean, I've seen him throw the ball live, and I mean, he does have a good spin on that thing, man. But actually, that's the last off of this list. That's the last quarterback I saw play live. It was a preseason game. Joshua Dobbs looked pretty good.
Yeah. You have a guy like Kyle Allen who I would say no to.
Yeah.
A guy that I would definitely say no to is right up under him, and Russell Wilson.
Actually,
who, in my opinion, just needs to retire.
Yeah, Josh Johnson's been on like 45 different teams.
Because, like,
Russell Wilson would be another one. I'm not going to.
He's the. Not for this price, you'd say no.
Oh, what is it now?
His market value. His average salary right now is 1.2.
Oh, okay. I mean,
his annual average salary on his next contract is $41 million a year.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's probably not. And all the other names, honestly, man, you don't even really have to go through. I don't want them. I mean, think about it.
Tommy DeVito, no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good Lord, Jeff.
And all of this stuff, like
42 now. I feel like he's been playing football forever.
How old is he?
30.
Wow. He was 31, 32.
Yeah.
31.
I know.
He's been playing football forever.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like I remember seeing him back in the Florida days, man. Like, yeah.
But before we go into the very last slide,
we're going to go keys.
Keys to victory.
Yeah.
Number one, same thing as last week.
Yeah.
Protect your quarterback. Last week, that didn't help.
We have to, man. We can't.
7 sacks on Will Levis.
It's just, that's been the talk all week on 104.5. Has Will Levis holding on to the ball too long? And Ramon Foster actually came on and said, and I've heard it almost every time.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he played offensive tackle, and he's saying, like, yeah, he said that when he was offensive tackle or when he was on the offensive line for Pittsburgh, that Big Ben, but because of his stature and he was able to be mobile, he knew that he was going to have to be blocking for Big Ben way more. He said that's why a lot of coaches will tell you, keep blocking until you think you don't have to block. And even if you think you don't have to block, you keep blocking after that but Big Ben was different. He was better. I mean, but I'm just saying, I mean, he said it was tough in the trenches with Big Ben, but it was different because they were winning. But yeah, a lot of people have been saying that a lot of the sacks, I think he said like 4 out of the 5 of those, or 4 out of the 6 or 7 sacks were his fault or something. And that's why I've been saying, Levis, if you're checking down, and you can't make a decision, I want to see him run more. I know people are saying, oh, he's going to get up the air and get hurt. Look, at this point, we're not winning, going to the playoffs. Go ahead. Run. Take off, jump over people, do flips. I don't care. I'd rather see him run, because he has that ability. I'd rather see him do that than just sit around there and throw picks or get sacked. What we got next?
Number 2, just what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Finish.
We have to play 4 quarters. If football was 2 quarters,
it's hard finishing games.
We might have a winning record if football was 2 quarters this year.
Yeah.
And then we got
Number 3,
we talked about this. Go ahead and elaborate on it.
make them one-dimensional.
Yeah, we talked about this before the pod, and you said if we can go ahead and finish what you're.
If you can take a, if you can, yeah, if you can take away, if you, they don't stand a chance.
It's going to be hard.
If you force them to run on you, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, but think about it. We still have to finish. That's the big. That's like that goes back to number 2 on the keys to victory. Like it's we have to play 4 quarters this week, and it is going to hurt us again because it's looking like we're not going to have Snead again, which is going to be a problem.
Gonna have Snead.
Yeah.
And so, big question is, who wins?
All right, I'll take this one firstly. I think it's closer. Honestly, when I saw this game on the schedule a couple weeks ago, I was like way more worried about it than I am now. I still do not think we win the game. I think I want to go 24-16, 24-13 Vikings, I'd say. Yeah, I would say about that.
I'm going even closer than that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going 17-14 Vikings.
So you're going under the. I got you. Yeah, so you're going. So
because as you said, one, we're better than Jacksonville.
We are. I think we are
on the defense.
Oh yeah, I mean we're better than more than half the NFL. Like on defense. But our offense is going to have to do it.
So, and I think with what we saw, the chemistry is starting to build between Levis and Ridley.
Yeah. And I mean, it looked good. I mean, those.
And I want to see some more. I want to see some more of those shots happen.
Yeah, but and Levis did place both of those balls perfectly. I mean, right over. I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
And I know the one fumble happened that Latham picked up, but like I said, still once again the offensive line was the cause of that. But we still got it. But you know what we did? He didn't turn the ball over, and to me, even though we lost, that was a win as a Titans fan watching Levis out there. Now they got 2 picks last week. The Vikings D did. Levis just cannot. He can't do stupid stuff, So, and I think we also another one. I think we have to have a little bit more success on the ground than last week.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And honestly, at this point, the last thing I will go ahead.
There's a stat that I can. No, go ahead. Go say what you're going to say.
No, I was just saying. I think that. I think this with every single game from here on out because of how our team is. And when it comes to the defense and getting tired and stuff, we have to win the time of possession in every single game. Not like last week where it was 30-29, split or whatever. We have to take care of the ball. And honestly, throughout the whole game, we kind of need to move the ball, but also we got to milk the clock. We have to make games be as close as possible in order for us to win. We can't we're not a comeback team. It ain't going to happen. We get down 14, we're done.
No. So I could not find what I was looking for, but what it was saying is if you go back and look through the last 3 teams we have played,
Yeah.
Chargers were 3 for 5 on third down
Okay.
or in the red zone.
Oh,
Patriots were 2 for 2.
the red zone D. That's what you're talking about.
And then the team before that, before the Patriots, went 5 for 5. The Lions, they went 5 for 5 in the red zone.
Yeah, and
The
almost
Titans over the last 3 games
all those drives
are
against the
10
Lions.
and 10.
in the red zone.
The Titans are 10 for 12 defensively in the red zone. 10 of the 12 red zone trips were touchdowns.
Touchdowns or points?
So we've allowed touchdowns.
Okay. That's not good.
So we've allowed 10 red zone touchdowns on 12 drives in the red zone the last 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not
The
going to
Titans need to clean that up this week.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to get back to that bend but don't break mentality in the
I
red
know.
zone.
I mean, think about it. Like, even when we were like making it
We
to the
need
playoffs,
to be
those years-
stingy in the red zone.
think about it. When we were making it to the playoff those years, I mean, the game against the Bills where we stuffed Josh Allen at the 1-yard line. Remember the year that we went to the AFC Championship? We were against the Chargers. It was 1st and goal at the end of that game, and we literally stuffed the Chargers. I don't know if you remember that game. 4 times on the 1-yard line. We used to do that.
3 straight runs.
Yeah, 3 straight. Yeah, we used to be that team that
one of those was a fumble.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Yeah. So I mean, we've got to get back to that, but it's almost like this team's doing the opposite. It's like we're not bending, but we're breaking. It's like because we're stingy everywhere else until the red zone. Like we got to put it all together. We got to put it all together, you know. But
Yeah.
I think we're about to wrap this up, right, Lee?
So is there anything else?
No, I'm good, man.
I was just to say, is there anything else we want to add?
No, I think we're good, man. We'll be back on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be back on Monday.
We will be back this time Monday evening, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central.
Yes. But
so we need to close up shop. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Stay classy.
And tighten up.
Tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Tightened up.